My name is Mengfan Zhai, and I study Educational Foundations major at the College of Education. My research is about promoting women's belongingness in STEM majors. My partner and I did this literature review, and our faculty sponsors are Dr. Jennifer Huseman and Dr. Sean Lampkins. We didn't receive any funding for this project, but Dr. Huseman and Dr. Lampkins did provide tremendous help for our project. So basically, gender gap in STEM major is still a significant issue in higher education. And what we found from one of the studies by Crenshaw is that the gender gap for 2013 in STEM majors is nearly the same with what it was in 1960s. So that's kind of shocking. And when me and Zige reached out to Dr. Huseman, she inspired us to have this idea of associating gender belongingness theory with the gender gap in STEM. And we really want to figure out what are some underlying factors that influencing or even deepening the gap. So we just decided to do it. And I feel like this topic is actually related to the social justice issue, which is what I'm personally passionate about. And also, I find this idea is really meaningful and important for education institutions to know to better the environment for women's engagement in STEM. Our initial goal for this project is to seeking for some connections between the social belongingness theory and the gender gap in STEM. But after we find some articles related to this issue, and which prove that they do have some connections. And we decided to shift our focus from the connections to two questions. So the two questions is why belongingness matters, and how does understanding the social belongingness theory could help to better women's engagement and participation in STEM. We searched some articles on UO Library and PubMed by searching some keyword like STEM, women, participation, and belongingness theory, something like that. And we have 128 articles at the beginning. And then we narrow it down to 20 articles in total by excluding some articles in STEM professional settings, such as careers and professionalism in STEM. And then we divided the 20 articles into two types. The first type includes 5 articles, which is about why belongingness matters. And the second type of questions is about how do schools and educational institutions support women's engagement by increasing their belongingness. One of our key findings is that most articles mention the suggestion about diminishing stereotypes towards women as the key point to improve their belongingness and engagement in STEM. And we also find other types of suggestions include legal support, addressing school harassment and discrimination towards women, and authority support, especially male authority, and racial diverse supports, which address general diversity. And the other one is the community allyship, like having female peer mentors or single-sex program. And what we found surprisingly is that most of the articles we found are published within the recent 10 years. And none of these articles address international students as samples, but only focus on domestic students' participation in STEM. I think our project is really important and meaningful because we're not only focused on spreading the knowledge of what belongingness theory is, we're also delivering the theoretical findings about belongingness and also some practical methods that schools and social institutions, educational institutions could do and apply to provide women with a better environment and climate for promoting their belongingness and engagement. We also find a new angle for future studies. For example, having more international students to get involved in such studies and also address students from racial diverse backgrounds and having a wider range of students to involve in such studies. I personally found the first step to solving a question is to get people familiar with the issue. So hopefully our project could provide and make some positive changes to the women's engagement in STEM.